Hey, what's up you guys? This is John Chacon with another instructional video. This one is going to be on a two-parter. It's actually a kettlebell clean and press. So there's two different movements that go in with this one single movement. I like to combine the two because you get the best of both worlds. You not only get those legs and hips involved with the clean, but you get the shoulders, upper back, forearms, triceps, all that good stuff involved with the overhead press. So I would venture to say that this is a great full body movement. Whether you're building strength, you're conditioning, or whatever it is, this is going to be helpful on all sides. Now, what's also going to help with this is if you've already seen our kettlebell swing and our kettlebell snatch videos. This is going to help with some of the mechanics. The clean portion is very similar towards the bottom of our swing and our snatch. We're just going to be using one hand. The very first rep of every set will start from the ground. A clean, in its most basic form, any kind of tool, doesn't matter, that weight is either going to go from the floor or from your hips up to what I call the rack position. So up to your chest, collarbone, shoulder area, okay? The press is going to go from the rack position to overhead, okay? So the clean, hips to shoulders, press, shoulders to overhead. Now, if you're uncomfortable doing anything overhead, or maybe your shoulders don't feel right as you're moving overhead, try to avoid that type of stuff. In fact, you can get a lot of work done with just the clean. It's very helpful, and a clean will also set you up for other movements that you might be doing with the kettlebell. For the clean portion, I'm going to start off with that kettlebell in the same spot that I normally would if I was doing a snatch or a swing. I'm going to step back about 1.5 feet behind it, feet shoulder width, toes straight ahead, heels down, kettlebell centered on my body. Spread the floor with the feet, drive the knees out, butt back, lower my hips. With a nice flat torso, I'm going to reach out, grab the center of that handle, tilt it back. My wrist is nice and straight, have a nice straight line from hand to shoulder. I'm going to bring my other hand out of the way. From here, I'm going to take in my belly breath. I'm going to swing this kettlebell behind my hips, explode forward and up as I guide that kettlebell straight up. When you catch it in the rack position, you should form a triangle with your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder. That kettlebell is going to sit right in this pocket where your elbow or where your shoulder meets your bicep. Elbow is going to be tucked in tight, so my elbow is resting on my rib cage. My bone is resting on the bone, okay? So in other words, I'm not using muscle to hold this up. And my wrist is straight. Make sure that wrist isn't bent back like so. From here, I'm going to take in my belly breath. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. I'm going to take everything in my tight torso. I'm going to press directly overhead, making sure that my arm is in line with my ears. I press it overhead. Then I'm going to come back down to that same vertical forearm position, and I'm going to repeat the clean. Full clean, taking your breath, squeeze your glutes, press overhead, and repeat. When you're done, lower it under control by hinging at the hips. From the front, again, set up, center the kettlebell on me. Spread the floor with the feet, drive the knees out, butt back, grab the center of the handle, tilt it back. Let the kettlebell swing behind your hips. Explode forward and up with a fully upright position. Forearm vertical, elbow in tight, squeeze your glutes. Taking your breath, extend overhead, keep the arm locked out in line with the ears. Come back down and repeat. You can go back up to strict presses. You can do push presses from this. You can do a number of things. When you're pressing overhead, it is so important to have that rack position. That elbow tucked in, guys. I'm going to reinforce this because it's so important. I see so many off. I see elbows tucked out. I see hands out here with the kettlebell. I tell you what, trying to press from here, you're going to start having some big time shoulder issues over time. If your wrist is bent back, you're being lazy with the wrist, and you haven't figured out where's a good spot for that kettlebell, that wrist, I guarantee, is going to start causing or start hurting. And you're not going to like it. You're going to avoid kettlebells, and your life will be ruined because you won't touch a kettlebell again. Just kidding. I love kettlebells. Anyways, when you press overhead, punch straight up. Most common things I see with overhead movements, that kettlebell will go off to the side, or it'll go out in front, or behind your head. Have somebody watch you or pay attention to yourself. If your arm is doing this and you can't bring it back, either fix it somehow. Maybe it's you're not getting your shoulder blade in a good position to allow you to go overhead, or maybe just because of some tension and tightness that you have in the front of your chest or your shoulders, is causing you to not be able to do it. If you cannot get over your head safely with that kettlebell, do not do it until you can do so, okay? Pay attention to how your body's moving. If you're not sure, take a video of yourself and watch it. Again, that good standard is going to be arm in line with the ear. And on those cleans, don't be lazy with your glutes. It's real easy to get into that habit. With this variation, I'm just gonna stand up. I'm not gonna use my hips for anything. I'm just gonna let it swing back. So you can get by with being lazy, especially if you have a solid grip and your arms are nice and strong. However, I want you to be efficient with this movement. Kettlebells are all about efficiency, using as little effort as possible to move as much weight as possible, as far as possible, and as quick as possible. So check this out. Use the hips, overhead, make it a nice, smooth motion. Last thing I'll say on the clean, just like with the swing, or with the snatch, we don't want that kettlebell to come way out here before we catch it, right? So let it swing behind you and pull it straight up here, and allow that kettlebell, again, to corkscrew around your wrist. I talked a lot about this in the snatch position. Let it wrap around your wrist, as opposed to this other variation that I don't want you to do. Letting it go out in front, and letting it slam on your shoulder, come down hard on that wrist. Look out for that stuff. Guarantee, again, you're gonna end up with a bunch of bruises on your wrists and your shoulder. It's not gonna feel good. If you add the clean and press to your arsenal of movements with the kettlebell, I can almost guarantee you're gonna be a beast when it comes to kettlebell. You're gonna have strength all over your body. You're gonna develop grip, efficiency with your movement, shoulders, glutes, hips. Everything's gonna be involved, and you will be very, very happy with how you look and how you feel and how you perform, okay? That's all I got for you today on the kettlebell clean and press instructional. This has been John Chacon, Stronger Every Day. Peace.